So I got tired of trying to do the filter and my app was acting up. So we're just gonna do this video outright because every time I get going, the video cut. And seeing how though not too many of my platforms will really let me go live for real, I'm gonna have to just do this video like this. But back to the message, y'all. Back to the message. In the other videos, I was going over how the cool kids, the quote unquote cool kids, that surface level mind see as cool kids. um, y'all be like, y'all love to say that it ain't that deep. It ain't that serious. It's very few gods and goddesses walking around here. Very few. And that's because a lot of y'all be talking about it ain't that deep. That aura that you see on people when they walk into the room, knowing even if they ain't got everything that you got, that aura that you see on that person, that's them going deep. That's because they know it is that deep. You see that aura on them because they know it is that deep and they are a god or a goddess because they acknowledge how deep it is and they do the work. You can't you can't start this journey off without accountability. And when motherfuckers start actually being real with themselves and being accountable for their actions, you will realize it is that deep. It is that deep. When you realize that the people you come across is not the people you at war with, it's deeper than that. It's about spirit and demons and soul ties. It's deeper than the surface. That's why the movie The Matrix was created. That's why um dang, I can't think of that. Fallen was created. That's why all these movies were created, like, to show people that this surface level shit don't matter. The surface level shit don't matter. It is that deep. God is offended by how people think it ain't that deep because to God, that's like you saying, I ain't really trying to connect with God. I ain't really trying to be able to communicate with God on my own. I rather have a three-way. I rather have an interference. I don't know. I just don't want to be that close to God because I'm scared. Because I know I ain't taking accountability. When you get into psychology, when you get into accountability, when you get into being that deep, the more you start to recognize God, the more you start to hear God. God is not always going to communicate with words. And even when God communicate with words, you never gonna ever hear God speak itself. It was a queen bee. It was a big queen bee just flew past me. And she just did a circle around me. Ooh, I felt like a blessing. A blessing. Ooh. What was I saying? Oh my gosh. Y'all, that just felt so, it just took my train of thought. Um God is that deep though. It's a lot of people caught up on the minute shit, the hustle and bustle, the grind to pay bills. How deep is your love? That's what I'm hearing. How deep is your love? And it's not a crime. I just heard Sade, is it a crime? It's not a crime. It's not a crime to put the love for yourself first. It's not a crime to be loved, because everybody like to talk about how the tongue is powerful, but they only say that because they don't want you to know how powerful the action is to go along with the word. And it's a lot of people around here just focused on the word, just focused on the tongue. But that's only half of what you're supposed to be doing. Yes, the mental is a big part of ascension, but it's also standing on business every day. When you come across people that's living in this worldly world and you tapped into the spiritual world, standing on business every day. That take real strength. That take real strength. And I know a lot of people be like, she be blowing down on people, like she don't talk to people. But honestly, y'all gotta know that God got a wrath, bro. God is upset. God is upset. It's a reason why God gave me the strength to be who I am today. Today, in this moment. It's a reason why he put me here, because God know my mouth. God created my mouth. God know I ain't gonna be afraid to call you motherfuckers cowards, because you being cowardly. You don't want to get close to God because you're scared, because you don't want to take accountability. Everything is not about money. Everything is not about paying bills. If you really got faith in God, bro, it's gonna be provided. And the motherfucker be like, oh well, I did this. Bro, you did that shit for 5 minutes. For 5 fucking minutes. And granted, it may not have been 5 minutes here on this planet, but to God, that shit was 5 minutes. It was 5 years you was doing this shit, and that was 5 minutes to God. Time do not exist the same way it exists with God. If you knew all the work God did to make this world exist the way it do, and once you know that and you appreciate it, you respect it, you love it, you don't let you won't be a part of the disrespect to it. You won't be a part of the disrespect, and that's part of taking accountability. Damn, I've been playing a part and all this fucking fucked up bullshit that's really, bro, that really go against what God created all this stuff, everything for. Accountability. Accountability. Damn, that's crazy. I was trying to flip the camera and give y'all a view of what I'm looking at. Cause I don't, bro. I get in nature and that's all I feel is God around me, surrounding me. And this just surface. And this is just the surface, bro. This is just this grass, this ground, the trees, the birds, the bugs, bro. The sun coming up right now. All of this is surface, surface creation, surface creation, bro. This stuff was created for the weak minded to become strong. This was the motivation. All this stuff was created for your eyes to see, for you to help connect to the stronger parts that didn't need to see. Ooh, that is a word. God, spirit, be doing it. This is the physical surface level manifestation, bro, of what God is trying to tell us, show us. It's the word and the action. It's the accountability and standing on business. Ooh, God is coming up on me. Ooh, thank you. Ashe. Ooh, I'm getting chills. I'm finna get off this video in a minute because I like for the sunlight to hit my crown. Like, y'all, I know it's a lot. It come with a lot, but it's so worth it. The peace of mind. And that's what people really want. I don't care what you're talking about. None of this material shit is gonna give you peace of mind. None of this material shit is ever gonna give you peace of mind. It may help. It may be a surface tool to help to reach peace of mind. But true peace of mind is when you go within, when you get deep. True peace of mind is when you get deep. Let me go ahead and go over these other messages because, baby, when I say this sun is coming up on me, ooh, I want to let my hair out. And I'm not finna keep giving y'all my crown chakra. So I'm finna start coming on here more and more with my head covered, especially when I'm giving these messages in a video. Yeah, y'all really don't be deserving, and y'all do be deserving, but y'all don't be deserving because everybody deserves, but only if you're willing to do the work. And a lot of y'all could sit here, look at the video, and still not do the work. You're not deserving. A lot of people could look at the video and pursue to do the work. You're getting there, but don't stop because that's when you become not deserving. You can take a break. Consistency is not about doing the same amount. Ooh, y'all hear that? That's 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 a message within my message. God is coming for God is listen. It's not gonna be pretty. This shit ain't gonna be pretty if you don't start taking the real work serious. And I'm not talking about no 9 to 5. I'm talking about the deep work that everybody is quote unquote that is not that deep. Bro, you sound ignorant as fuck and you looking like a demon. You own demon time. That's what that sound like. You own demon time. Yeah, these little slogans trying to sound cool got people offering their souls as sacrifice little by little. Little little by little. I heard a reading from Divinely Faceted, and I usually don't even like to really put out there who I be watching, but at the end of the day, I do need to filter myself, but I don't need to filter myself because God made me a truth teller. It'd be hard for me not to speak truth. It'd be hard to filter what I should share and what I shouldn't share because I'm just a truth teller. But that's something I had to, you know, and some of us might have to deal with. But yeah, she said she said Like when you playing tag, you're like, and you be like, I don't want to be it, but you do really want to be it. It really is really a reverse psychology, and that's why I said psychology is so important because they really got us doing shit unintentionally, unconsciously doing shit to go against the grain with our word. And then like when you think about it, when you was playing tag, you didn't want to be it. You felt that in your bones. You didn't want to be it. Motherfuckers used to cry about being it. Baby, I want to be it. I am it. I am it. They put out these movies, like I said, psychology is a mug. You hear me? They put out these movies to make you feel like that ain't real. Television is the television. Y'all been hearing all this stuff that people been saying and ain't been putting the pieces together, ain't been applying it. Hmm. Days like this, I drink my tea with no sugar. No sugar whatsoever. No honey, no sugar, no sweetener whatsoever. Just straight herbs and water. Days like this, it'd be like, what's that little juice y'all be drinking on Fortnite? Is it green or blue power up juice y'all be drinking? I think it'd be both of them. One be for the shield protection and one be for the life. Yeah, boosting up just like that. It's blue and green. And actually, I can't even say that for real because I would have to say the spiritual bath is the green for the life, and the tea is the armor for the blue. Two different waters, different herbs, but two different jobs, but still to serve the same purpose. Having the word and the action, using the tongue and your faith to move forward with the action that you know everybody else ain't doing. The road less traveled. That's what they talking about. The road less traveled. We see everybody out here trying to go work a job, trying to pay bills, trying to talk about, yeah, I bought this house, I got this car. The whole time, why the fuck is you going to go work? I done been through the whole sovereignty. I can't call it a crisis, but it was an era. It was an era where I was looking at the sovereignty, and you know what God said to me? Why in the fuck? Yeah, why in the fuck? That's what God said. Why in the fuck? Because God communicate with me the way He created me to communicate. That's how me and God's relationship works. God created me to be like, yeah, we gonna. God has a ego. God has a dark side. God is willing. Like me and the devil go together. Me and me and God go together. All three of us is in a relationship. All three of us, because God is the only thing that can be separated from ego and still exist in like in two different forms. Like there's a whole God exists in two forms: the ego and the light, the highest version. It's two different forms. That's what they be showing y'all in the movies. The little devil on one side and the angel on another that look exactly like the person that is on the shoulders of. That is what that is. That is God showing itself in its separate forms. That's the only way that helps this world be what it is. And I'm starting to believe, and I don't know how I feel about that word. I'm starting to, I guess it would be a belief because I don't know if it's true or not, but my intuition, maybe let me just stop saying that. I rebuke it. I repent. Once we ascend, God ascends back into one. God had to separate into two because it needed to assemble all the pieces. The Dark Crystal, it made me think of the movie The Dark Crystal. The Anunnaki. Hmm. Yeah, but God is more than just surface level. God has levels. It's levels to this shit. It's a lot of slogans that's very true, but you got to know how to apply them. A lot of slogans that you shouldn't be saying because it's going against your creation. It's going against their creator and what God is actually trying to do, which is ascend us and unify. Ascend us and unify through the power of the tongue in action. But that road less traveled gotta become the more likely road to be traveled. That means people stopping working, people stop letting money have power over them, people stop letting material gains, classism be a thing, racism, sexism, feminism, all this shit, all these isms is ugh, ugh, ugh. Ism is I'm gonna get a break, massa. Is I'm gonna get a break, massa. That's what that sound like. Is I'm gonna get a break, massa. Like isms is the contract for a master. Hmm. Isms is the contract for the master. So as soon as you start participating in the isms, sexism, feminism, Christianism, Muslim, is like Islam, sexism, all the isms, Buddhism, when you start to just seclude yourself, because you're supposed to take part in everything. You're supposed to take part in not, and I can't say you're supposed to, but nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits. So to be a part of a ism is to accept the master. When you like Veneer, when Rainier, I said Veneer, not Rainier, not even Rainier. What is her name from Game of Thrones? And that girl, the white haired girl, the dragon girl, the mother of dragons in Game of Thrones, not Hassel Dragons, but the Game of Thrones, the first series. When she freed those slaves from their masters, they wanted to go back to the master. They wanted to go back to the master because wages wasn't good. They couldn't feed their family. So you mean to tell me you're not willing to suffer in a season with God and you rather have material gain with the devil? Oh, baby. That is not what the devil, you supposed to utilize the devil, but that's not how you utilize the devil. You don't want material gain from the devil. That's not what you want. You want lessons. You want the devil. And this is why as a Capricorn, this is why it's easier for me to go through this and experience this and be able to master it because I am a Capricorn. I sit on my planetary is Saturn. Saturn sits close to the sun, which is the hot, most high God. The moon is God's ego, the devil. But I also am connected to the devil because that is me in tarot. I am the devil in tarot. But I'm also Jesus at the Last Supper. So I'm able to see both parties for who they are and accept them for who they are a lot easier than most people because there's still cycles that y'all got to go through. But that don't mean that I'm still not supposed to show up and give you the truth. Just because it was easier for me to do, is going to come a time where you are going to go through a life cycle that's going to get you just as close as Saturn is. And you're going to remember this in that lifetime. I now just became a part of your ascension. It's a pyramid scheme. Spirituality got a pyramid scheme. Each one teach one. That's what they call that. Yeah. Um, Let me tell you something real quick before I go to spiritual wealth. Get you recognized in every room. Material wealth only will accept you in all rooms, but they will not recognize you in all rooms. You always be accepted into rooms as long as you got what you need to be accepted into them. If you got that 750 credit score, if you got 620K in the bank account, if you own a house, if you fit these criteria on material wealth, yeah, you're gonna be able to get into rooms. But a person that may not have material wealth and got all the spiritual wealth, gotta open any door for them. And God may not always show up when you want him, but God is always right on time. Don't think you can just wait 5 minutes for God and think God finna show up for you on your time. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. God do a massive job. Just imagine how much God do, and you afraid to do just your part. You you feel like it's so much to just do your part, and God is doing so much more. Every person that exists, every person, because like I said, God is not just the light, but he's the devil too. So God got to reach on everybody, teaching everybody something, taking everybody through their cycles, while simultaneously keeping the world moving at one timeline, and then everybody else is on their own timeline, and God got his hands all of it in all of it. And here you are telling God, I don't want to take accountability, I'm too afraid of what the truth might hold, what the consequences might be. And I just got me to worry about. I just got my part to do. Do you know that's why God is upset? If for too long God has dealt and put up with this shit for too long, God is fed up. God is truly fed up. And I'm just saying 30, 30, 30, 30, dirty 30, 30, 30, dirty 30. Yeah. And get a little gutter when you get to that 30 as a Capricorn. Because that's like, God, Jesus was a Capricorn. Send it at 33. You know, you know. If you know, you know. And your girl is 31. Your girl is 31. And my timeline may not necessarily be 33, but it might be. It might be. Because time don't exist the same way it exists with God. So much. It's so complex. It's so complex. And I used to wonder why I used to struggle with math. I used to struggle with math, and not all math. It was a particular grade that I got in. I'm trying to remember what grade that was. Mm, when did I even start struggling with math? When we started getting into those big equations, exponents and fractions, like when the decimal, like when everything would be. What is that fucking math called? I can't think of the name of it, but I used to struggle with that because it was like when you find out the truth, that was all fluff and bluff, fluff and puff, fluff and puff. But if it didn't do anything, it damn sure gave me the framework for knowing how to break down complex equations, just not in a way of doing it with math. It helped me compartmentalize to be able to pull this out, hold it like spades. You gotta know how to hold them and when. Well, that's Texas hold them, hold them and when to fold them. But still, spades. You gotta know how to count your numbers. You gotta know when to play your hand. You gotta know how to read the board. It's very complex because you gotta know how to do more than one thing at once. We do a lot of these things in our everyday life, and you mean to tell me you can't apply that to what really matters? It ain't that deep.